Lunchbox is brought to you by Gulfstream Park.
Hold the mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the frim sauce with the awesome fave with shafafa on the side.
Good afternoon, everybody. Oh, I'm off key. Welcome to another edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox, our Friday fun place. It is a tremendous start to a Friday at 10 Palms, Gulfstream Park, Keeneland, opening day of the fall meet. And are we cashing tickets yet, Defo? I think I am. I don't know. I think you got split. How are you today?
I'm good. Louie's doing all right. He's a happy man. So good to be here at Gulfstream Park.
Well, there's a lot on the plate today. We've got, first of all, you notice on my head is a bit of a monstrosity. It is from my deepest recesses of the closet. It's a Mets cap from 1982 or 3. And you'll notice it has these clapping hands, which the strings don't work. But how about a round of applause for those amazing Miracle Mets? When it was top of the ninth, I almost went onto the Hard Rock betting app and see what I could get on a Mets comeback. I bet it was going to be in the neighborhood of maybe 100 to 400 to 1. I don't know, maybe only 50 to 1. I didn't go on there. I just sat and watched. But how about those Metsies and Pete Alonso, Defo?
It was nice. They were just announcing Boog Shambi was doing a game. He said this could be Pete Alonso's last at bat as a Met, which is going to be a free agent after the year. It's questionable whether they re-sign him. And sure enough, this was the thing that Lubie dreamt about when he was in the backyard at 6 years old. Knocking one out of the park, game on the line. It
was beautiful.
Turned out to be the game winner.
Just died right in the corner there, right over the fence from a 2-0 deficit, and they looked hopeless and almost hitless, and boom, next thing you know, they're up 3-2. They get an insurance run. They get them out in the bottom of the ninth, and it's the Metsies who advanced by winning 2 of 3 on the road after what a week. I mean, you know, there's a minor league team for the Mets called the Brooklyn Cyclones that's named after the roller coaster, but the Metsies are the real roller coaster. You don't like them, Lubie? How can you not like this team?
I mean, I'm a South Florida guy. Like, I root for my teams and against their division mates. So, like, I've always hated the Phillies. I've always hated the Braves, and I've always hated the Mets. Now, the Marlins have been so bad for so long, it's, like, hard to hate anyone. But I'm not going to lie, when Defo was telling me this morning, because I had no idea what happened last night, I was very frustrated to see that the Brewers gave that away. But good for the Mets. I know their fan base down here is very strong, and they were riding the roller coaster of the Mets season all season long, and that roller coaster continues.
I mean, what a week. I mean, they come back, I think whatever it was, the Sunday game, they have to go play a doubleheader, make-up doubleheader in Atlanta. They have to split. They win the first game in an unbelievable back-and-forth battle. And then they get into the wild card, and they come back in game 1, and they come back in game 3. And now we've got 2 series in the National League that are intriguing because they're both like, you know, the coastal battle, San Diego and the Dodgers. Yep. So it's, what do you call that? The 405 series. And then you've got the New Jersey Turnpike series where you go from New York down to Philly. And it's intriguing because I hate the Phillies. I hate everything Philadelphia, especially cheesesteaks. Apologies to Brian. We all know that roast pork and provolone is the best sandwich.
We all don't know that.
I don't hate cheesesteaks. I like cheesesteaks. I tolerate
Does
them.
Philly, I wasn't from the 80s. I know the 80s in basketball, the Sixers, Knicks, and Celtics.
Flyers, the Broad Street Bullies.
Was there a rivalry? Because you always hear New York and Boston. I grew up in New York and Boston. You don't really hear Philly. Like, is there a Philly?
Back in the 70s, there was the Flyers, the Broad Street Bullies. They were winning a lot of Stanley Cups, and, you know, the Rangers were in the midst of a long drought at that point, and the Islanders were starting to get good. But there was rivalries, and Giants and Eagles, of course, the Pisarcik play, the fumble. So there's a history there, but it's going to be an intriguing upcoming month.
The baseball playoffs have been fun. I mean, I haven't watched a lot of it, but they've been very back and forth. And the football game last night, finally, we got a really good football game. I mean, that game was ridiculous.
I didn't even watch a minute of it because
watched
I
all of it.
didn't bet
To
it.
the end. I missed the
and
end. That was ridiculous.
I was so engrossed by the Mets. But again, I guess the Falcons came back and win in overtime. A thrilling victory for those. You ended up winning, right? Or losing?
I had no betting interest in the game. We had a couple of handicappers pick the Buccaneers and the under. So both of those went up in smoke.
I thought you mentioned yesterday that your friend, Franchette, that you were booking his action. That
Oh,
he
I
liked.
know. I had Tampa Bay in that proposition, and
Okay.
so I lost. Yeah,
Okay, so the house sometimes has to absorb some.
it's okay.
Some
He's
blows.
due for a giant losing streak. I don't worry about it.
It's Francesco.
I've been booking the guy's bets for 20 years. I paid him once, and he's paid me 19 times.
There you go. Meanwhile, it is a glorious day here at Gulfstream Park. We've got National Vodka Day is today.
Oh, okay.
So I am toasting National Vodka Day with
I'll get vodka,
a
yes.
Kettle One Bloody Mary. I'm in the
you're
mood
man.
to start drinking early on this weekend. The question is, we know it's National Vodka Day, October 4th.
Okay.
Why? I have no
Yeah,
idea.
I was gonna say, what is
The
that?
question is it or is it not National Taco Day? Because National Taco Day used to be on October 4th for reasons I have no idea why.
Okay.
But this year, apparently, the Ministry of Silly Food Holidays shifted National Taco Day to October 1st to coincide with a Tuesday. So
Oh,
it
Taco
would be a
Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday for Taco
At least
Day.
that makes sense.
But then I seen some, Mexican restaurants are trying to push in their promotions on the Let's Eat group by saying celebrate National Taco Day with us today. And I'm saying, no, you're too late because
Have a
they,
vodka spritzer and,
Yeah.
and a taco.
there you go. Seafood month continues, and we
Yes.
have the look what we.
It
why,
looks
don't
pretty
you
spectacular.
why don't you
It's
describe
red
what you
snapper.
ordered?
It was supposed so it was pitched to me as red snapper and couscous, which I know you're a fan of couscous. I'm not. And I'm sure couscous can be done well. I just have never had it where I've enjoyed it. But this does not look like couscous. This looks more like a risotto, which is way more up my alley. And it looks really nice. And then it was supposed to be broccolini, but that looks more like a cauliflower, like a breaded
Yes,
cauliflower.
Definitely not broccolini. It's definitely cauliflower. It looks like it's dusted with something.
Is
it's
it dusted or
what-
breaded?
Yeah, it's like there's a glaze on here. Oh, and we got sliders
and
coming
these sliders they do are amazing. And they actually cook them to order, which is very rare for a slider.
I don't know what my problem is. I've been listening to Sarni way too much because
Yes, you
besides doing a seafood dish a day on the show for National Seafood Month, and today being the 4th, this is the 4th seafood dish, and we're going to have a bite to make it official
To
of
commemorate
the
it, yeah.
beautiful red snapper with what looks like risotto and cauliflower here at 10 Palms at Gulfstream. And Chef Jason is really up the game. This is a very
Well put together
fancy,
dish, yeah.
foodified plate, and he's got those little teardrop.
Those
They look like
peppers.
tomatoes, but they're pepperdew peppers,
Okay.
and they got a little bit of a nice kick. And he left the skin on, which is a real chefy thing to do, to have a little bit of a skin that's kind of crispy along
Yeah,
with
crisp.
the fish.
Yeah.
So
It's nice.
there goes National Seafood Day.
There you go. We
Listen
got
to
shrimp, too.
Sarni on that.
Yeah.
Sarni this morning texts me about, do you have any Met hats to wear for about
So that
the
way you're wearing
Mets?
the ridiculous
And
hat.
I just so happened when I moved this week, I found
Give me
this
credit for
hat.
keeping that hat.
Now, this hat was procured, I think, 1983, when Doc Gooden became a sensation. Dr. K, they called him, and
Dr.
they
K,
hung
yep.
those
Even I
Ks.
remember that.
They started selling these so that you could actually keep whoop and holler and clap, and then use your hat. I think it's appropriate for today,
Yeah, it was a big game.
and I think I should stop listening to Sarni at
Yes,
some point
we
in
can
my
take a
life.
break on that. The seafood thing's a good thing. I like you eating seafood. That's a good thing.
I walk into Gulfstream
The
today.
hat's weird.
I walk into the press office today, and I see the
Wearing that
usual
hat.
crew:
You're wearing-
Dave Joseph, Eddie Gray.
God.
There was such an uproar. Last week I made an uproar because I cut half of a donut and left another half in the box.
Oh, you did. Oh, I used to do that at the
Now,
radio station.
we'll talk more about that because that caused a whole ruckus
Oh,
on the
Jesus.
group. But today I walk in, and basically everybody hates the Mets, and
Yeah,
they're
we're South
yelling
Florida
at
people
me.
or they're Yankee fans.
I get out, and then Dave Joseph chases me out and says, "This is the last show at Gulfstream you'll ever do."
Because he worked for the Marlins. Like, what was it?
No, he just hates the Mets,
Oh,
and
okay.
I annoyed his staff. So,
Well, that's probably about right. But not the
but
first time.
I'm going to stick with it because
That's fine.
it's not often that Mets fans.
It was a big
get
win. I
chance
mean,
to
look,
gloat.
to win like that, like cardiac kind of thing we saw with the Panthers, like I get a fan base being excited. I'm a Marlins fan. Like, what do you?
But let's recap last week's controversy because we had some audio glitches
We had
last week,
major
and not
technical
everybody
issues.
could hear it last week. And what happened was Dave Joseph brought a bunch of donuts from Trader Joe's. I guess every fall they have apple cider donuts. So he set
Oh,
them out
nice.
in
That
the
sounds
Gulfstream
ridiculous.
press box office. I'd never had an apple cider donut
No, that
from
sounds-
Trader
That
Joe's.
sounds amazing.
I didn't want a whole donut because I'm watching my
Yeah, watching
weight,
your figure. Yeah, as we see
watching
every
my
day.
sugar intake.
Yeah.
So I cut a donut. Like I didn't take a half. It was more like a quarter to a third. I didn't find a knife. I did find a coffee stirrer. So I used the coffee stirrer to cut off a little wedge, but I didn't touch the other part of the donut. I just cut piece and took the piece I
Yeah, you
wanted
cut.
with my fingers, and I left the remainder in there.
But no one's gonna think that.
But next thing I know, Dave Joseph is running over and he goes,
He,
"Hey,
like, watched
Eddie
you.
Gray, who is
Watch you.
former Boston Herald racing writer. Hey, Eddie, look what Mayo did."
Oh,
Eddie goes over to the box. He sees like the half left donut there. He picks it up. His face turned beet red.
He was angry.
He was in an
angry.
apoplectic fit of anger. I thought he was going to fling the donut at me. Instead, he goes over to the trash can. He throws the donut into the trash can
Oh, no.
with such force. It was like a Michael Jordan
Like a
slam dunk contest.
Oh, my
And he goes, you take the whole freaking donut. And I was like, what? I've been in office settings where people don't want the whole donut. They cut it and they leave the
I
other
was
half
gonna
for
say
somebody
the radio
else.
station again. We were in the newsroom, so it was like a family atmosphere. We all
Yeah.
knew each other for like a decade, so we all knew our quirks. So like when I would cut half a donut, people would go, "There's Lubie," because I worry about what I eat.
Yes.
And people would eat it. Like they wouldn't think twice about it because they knew me. They could see me do like I would do it with a knife. I wasn't trying to be gross. And I would always check later in the day just to see if anyone, and it would be gone. All right. I'm like, so someone
Right.
did what I did, ate half a donut, fine.
Or they
Problem
came
is
along like
here-
Eddie and slam dunked it
Problem
into the
is
trash.
here, this is that office. People are coming in and out all day, and it's not the same people in and out all day. So I could see their frustration with a random ass person.
Eddie went nuts. I said, what? And I said, you know what? I'm going to pose the question to the group. So
Oh,
before
God.
the show yesterday, I said, etiquette eating question. When you're in an office setting and somebody brings a bunch of donuts, is it okay to cut half a donut and leave the other half for somebody else who might not want a full donut? 658 comments later, the consensus 75-25
No.
was that it was okay.
Oh, they got okay.
Yeah, that it's perfectly acceptable as long as you're using a knife, and you can tell if you're tearing it with
Yeah,
the
if you care,
hands.
you know.
But if you're using a knife and it's neatly cut,
Yeah.
most people did not find any problem with that.
Well, you found the wrong office.
And Defo concurred with me last week, and
I would agree with you for a rare time, but if there are teeth marks in it and it was clearly, it's kind of like when you have something in the fridge and your wife or your spouse, whatever, you don't want to leave teeth marks in that slice of watermelon that you only took one bite out of. So then you have to even it out by making it look like you didn't bite into it.
100%.
But cutting a donut in half, I don't have any problem with that.
right.
I mean, there are many times you
don't
got
want a
like
whole
a
donut.
coffee roll. You don't want to eat the whole thing because it'll kill you.
exactly.
So maybe you cut like even a piece off.
Yep.
I think that's okay.
it's like when somebody slices bagels in
If
half.
somebody wants to take a whole one and they're offended by the fact you cut it in half, then they could take another
They
donut.
take the half.
Yeah.
To me, it's like when you see a bagel platter and they're all cut in half, and sometimes they're not split all the way. And then what do you do? Because then in order to make it
You're
half a
touching
donut,
it,
you
yeah.
are touching it, and then it gets into some dicey
There
territory.
are probably other people that want to have a donut. though,
That's
too.
the thing
Yeah.
is most people are scared to do the half, and you were trailblazer, and they were probably insecure.
I say, even for those who are worried about hygiene, that a little bit of germs makes you stronger. I mean, COVID is mostly gone away now. I didn't get my latest booster shot. I probably should do that at some point. But in any event, I never anticipated that would be like the talker of the week on Let's Eat last week, that it just set off
No,
a
it's the
whole
simplest stuff. What do you want?
conflagration. And people, again, Don Jaffe was in the no camp. He was saying that you should not leave half donut.
Look, to me, it depends on like if it's like because we had the big common area where they would bring food. I wouldn't do half there because people from the we had a big ass building, and people from the whole building would go, and if you do half there, you're like, But in our little it's like that office. I don't know. It's weird because it's a smaller office, but I think people are coming in and out all day. And like you're sending a weird message. I don't know. Like I take half a donuts all the time. I don't want a whole donut, but I guess people have weird donut etiquette. I don't know. I guess they're very strong in their donut stances.
All right. Well, we'll let that just lie there. And I know now that when I'm
What
in the
Annette
Gulf Stream,
said, and I agree with Annette. Annette was like, at least it didn't bite it.
right?
I was like, yeah, knowing mayo.
Knowing mayo, I would big bite a whole donut and then take all the other donuts and big bite all of them, and there'd be nothing left for anybody.
Like that wasn't having manners. Like,
that would be a breach of etiquette, I think, if I ate the whole donut box,
100%.
each one in one bite in succession.
Exactly. Like Homer.
Right. One more topic before we get to the break and then the contest and Joe Beja. The Sentinel in their next monthly looking
Food
for the
contest.
best of. It's not food contest. This time it's drink. It's the best craft brewery in South Florida. It's an interesting one. And I don't know if you guys go around to some of these local craft brews. There's a whole bunch of them all up and down.
I've been to them. I wouldn't call myself like an expert. Like I wouldn't want to raise up anyone to slay. I don't know anyone that well. I know Three Sons is cool.
We've done Lauder Ale with the
place we
Beast.
did with the Beast was great. The one on Oakland Park, the one that it's been there forever. I did trivia at
Funky Buddha. We've never done a shoot.
I've done trivia there.
Yeah.
So they do a really good job. Like, and I don't mean to be mean to brewery in this contest, but I'm not going to lie. They all feel very similar. So I don't know what makes
it depends.
What like is
style.
it the food, the beer? Like
some breweries are known for their stouts, some for their lagers and pilsners, some for their IPAs. I happen to love a Three Sons IPA. It's called the Dopalicious. But it seemed like a lot of the breweries getting love was one of them in Lauderdale called Invasive Species, one that's called Lauder Ale, where we just mentioned. There's one down in Doral that's gotten some love. There used to be a lot in Wynwood, but they've all closed up because the land down there has gotten too valuable.
Yeah.
But again, you can go online now to the sunsentinel.com website and nominate your favorite, and then they'll be collecting the
Wait,
top
you used
5
a coffee stirrer to cut it?
Yeah. Well, that was... I don't know if I mentioned that. It was more of the concept of cutting it in half.
Cut it with a coffee stirrer. Don't you have to use your hand a great deal?
No. It's like you use it like a lever where you kind of bring it down. Kind of like the blade of a knife, only it's with a wooden coffee stirrer.
So you're the one that's like
that.
I didn't lie. No, you just left out all the information.
As my ex-wife says, sins of omission when you don't tell them all the damning information.
Good job, Don. Thank you. That was Don Jaffe and that. Excuse me a little bit.
Hey, let's take our first break. And we'll come back. We'll do a contest. Before that, let me talk about the Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival.
Yeah,
it is coming up before you know it. And it's never too early to get your tickets for the main event, the grand tasting. That's going to be on that Saturday at the Las Olas Beachfront Park, along with a whole host of other activities, big events, and also some small intimate dinners. Go online to vlfoodwine.com to check out the schedule now and to buy some tickets for the food lover in your life. It makes a great Christmas, Hanukkah gift. The holidays are coming up before you know it. vlfoodwine.com. And get it now. I can't wait. It's going to be great.
All right. We have more to come on Gulfstream Park 10 Palms, Mike Mayo's Lunchbox, including a 10 Palms brunch voucher contest coming up next.
From a scratch kitchen, delicious drinks and house-made spirits from a craft bar. A great vibe inside and out with a spacious patio. I'm talking about Batch New Southern Kitchen and Tap, Fort Lauderdale, in the heart of the city at 525 North Federal Highway. It's open 7 days for lunch, dinner, and weekend brunch with classics like fried chicken and waffles and shrimp and grits, and creative items like pecan-crusted salmon and a fried green tomato BLT. And the drinks? Smooth sipping and so good. There's convenient free parking and a garage next door, happy hour at the bar, an entire patio, 4 to 7 Monday to Friday, and live music every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It's pet and people friendly and with cozy fire pits for when the temperature dips. For reservations and more information, go to batchsouthernkitchen.com. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, and also now with a new location on Las Olas Boulevard. Those are my spots. Upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. Best restaurants in South Florida? Casa D'Angelo is always at the top of my list. First class dining, top flight service, elegant atmosphere, and chef founder Angelo Ilia is legendary. The flagship in Fort Lauderdale has been serving the finest Italian cuisine since 1997, with other locations in Boca Raton and Aventura. As Angelo himself says, they have an unwavering commitment to unparalleled quality with meticulous attention to details. It's so good, with house-made pastas, pristine seafood, unique meats like elk chops and bison, and seasonal specialties including fragrant fresh truffles from Italy. All locations open 7 days for dinner. Reservations recommended. For a special occasion or any occasion, Casa D'Angelo. Tell them Mike Mayo sent you. If you're looking for an exquisite sushi experience, Kaizen Sushi Bar and Grill in Fort Lauderdale is the place to go. 5640 North Federal Highway, just north of Commercial Boulevard. Chef owner Hui Lam, he's a sushi savant, slicing and serving pristine fish and seafood flown in directly from Japan and around the world. Nigiri, sashimi, special rolls, and omakase dinners. He's ruined me from going anywhere else. It's that good. Open 7 days for dinner and also for lunch. Even if you're not a sushi fan, they have great cooked options, including steaks, chops, rice and noodles, and other Japanese dishes. It's fantastic. For reservations and information, go to kaizenflorida.com. Tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. Delicious Mexican food with innovative twists. Margaritas with a medley of tongue-tingling flavors. I'm talking about Taco Craft, Taqueria, and Tequila Bar. The place to go on Taco Tuesday and every day. It's located at 510 North Federal and Highway in Fort Lauderdale, and also in Lauderdale by the Sea at Plantation Walk, and soon in Coral Springs. Taco Craft has specials every day, including bottomless drinks for a Sunday brunch, and Taco Tuesdays with their $4 premium tacos, including their new burrito tacos with bone marrow broth. Oh, it's so good. They've even made a taco lover out of me, and they've got so much more, including fajitas, that open-faced smashed cheeseburger tortilla that's new, and a guacamole sample that's an explosion of flavors. The kitchen is open late. There's delivery and takeout. For more information, go to tacocraft.com. Tell them Mike Mayo the Lunchbox sent you. All right, back here on the Lunchbox at 10 Palms at Gulfstream Park. We're having a fine Friday so far. Got racing live here at Gulfstream. We got opening day of the fall meet at Keeneland. And I don't know about you. If somebody had to ask you like your top, let's say, race meets of the year or favorite places to go, Defo, would Keeneland rank in the top 3, I'd say? Or
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's a rare treat. It's like, they always talk about Madison Square Garden being the cathedral of basketball or whatever. This is probably, if you're just looking to be a pure horse racing fan, as good an experience as you could possibly have. Now you need a decent day, and it looks like a beautiful day there.
Yeah, when you get those crisp
when it's
fall days.
It's raining, and the wind's blowing, and the weather changes every 3 seconds. It can get pretty funky there, but fantastic. I love when the entire town is into an event. Yep. You don't get that often here in South Florida. You do sometimes if a team's in the postseason or whatever, but or like with the Panther playoffs. But I love when an entire city rallies around a race meet. Yep. That happens. It's a little bit at Del Mar. You get it at Saratoga, but you really, really get it at Keeneland.
Because it's the heartland of horse racing country. The backdrop of Keeneland is
you roll through horse farms to get into the track.
The major breeding farms. You know, the historic names, Calumet Farm, and I don't even know what's there now, but it's basically all the major breeding sheds you can literally see them in the background of the track. So it's bluegrass country. Everybody's into it. And like you said, the whole town shows up. And the beauty of it is the rarity of it. It's the 4 weeks, twice a year. They have
it's only 3 weeks. Yeah.
Well, 3. Okay. So it's in the spring, you've got a 3-week meet where it is leading up to the Kentucky Derby at Churchill Downs.
Oh, nice.
And then in the fall, it's the 3-4 week meet leading into the Breeders' Cup. This year happens to be in Southern California at Del Mar. So you've got all these major horses from around the world congregating for prepping for other races that are leading, that are on those big days. And they usually like to have a race, 3 to 4 weeks out. Anyway, it's just great, big fields, fully competitive, good wagering prospects. And Charney asked me to put together a list for his his newsletter thing that he puts out, that I don't know who anybody can actually read it or does read it, but basically, my top 5 was Keeneland, Saratoga, Gulfstream Championship meet, because you do have some high quality horses here between the Christmas and the Florida Derby, all the young potential Kentucky Derby entrants. Del Mar in the summertime, and then the Kentucky Downs, which is a weird, freaky track that only runs 8 days a year on a triangular grass course, uphill, downhill, full fields, impossible to handicap. But boy, if you hit, you can hit for big numbers there. So
You can't leave out Santa Anita.
I was gonna say Santa Anita is the one.
The racing has gone downhill because they don't have that many horses out there, and they've had all kinds of problems. We all know about the issues from years ago, which, however, they've been resolved. They still see a lot of small fields out there, but beautiful. I mean, just when you're in the stands or whatever, walking around the apron or just the grounds, absolutely fantastic. That's what I loved about it when I first went to Belmont Park, first track I ever went to for the thoroughbreds, and people were out there in the back side playing football. They were having picnics. It was just a real party scene. So Santa Anita would rank up there.
In terms of majesty and the backgrounds of the San Gabriel Mountains, I completely agree.
Beautiful.
Especially since it's the sister track to Gulfstream.
And it's a great place
ownership
to get into. The whole trip of arriving there.
Right.
I mean, it's one thing if you're like jumping the barriers on the Belt Parkway to try and make the first race at Aqueduct.
Well, that's not.
But if you're cruising through the hills there at Pasadena, it's kind of nice.
It's a beautiful place. I just wish, like you mentioned, in recent years they've had some issues with field size, and
it's gone really down. I mean, there's question whether it's going to persist, and that's serious stuff.
I think it will persist just because it is.
It has a history, right?
The history. It's a matter.
But when you're in the stands on a beautiful day like you have here today at Keeneland, and you just look out there, and you see these horse farms and the rolling hills, and it's just absolutely beautiful, a complete sanctuary and entity unto itself. And then you realize you're stuck 400. So
and
you're not going to be able to pay for the
bad.
hotel because they've jacked the rates through the roof, even to stay at a Days Inn.
Friggin' Holiday Inn.
That's the beautiful.
Actually, it's not a bad place to go from that regard. It's fairly cheap to travel there, and you can get accommodations for a reasonable amount of money.
It's not like Louisville during Derby week where they really got you. I mean,
Derby
Keeneland during those 4 weeks, you can find spots that are a little bit on the outside.
Well, what I like is I love seeing young kids that embrace tradition.
Yep.
And in the case of going there in Lexington, you have all these young Kentucky University of Kentucky students, and they're dressed in the seersucker suits, and they're really doing the whole thing like it's supposed to be done, or like it was back in the day. And there's a lot to be said for that. I don't know you're ever going to see guys wearing suits and top hats to boxing matches anymore, but in this case, they really embrace the tradition. And it seems to be very important to everybody, and that makes it a lot more fun.
Now, normally I would include Belmont Park because, like you, I fell in love with racing there.
Yeah.
But right now
they're redoing it, so
it's being torn up and renovated. I don't know what it's going to look like afterwards. So right now I didn't include it. I did not include it because
TBD.
You can't go there right now. I mean, it's been out of commission for the past almost.
I've never been
year.
to Keeneland. I know our friend Mike Nyman and Defo went a bunch of times, and the way they talked about it made you.
It's fantastic. It really is a great time.
But I've been to Churchill Down, and that's what's cool about that. And it's funny because you guys talk about the track and these poetic terms, and I never had any connection to the track, let alone an affinity for it. But going to Churchill Downs, and we got a very interesting view of it. Like not everyone we got to walk the backstretch. We literally were walking like right before first race post. We were walking on the track to get around, and no one yelled at us. Like they were about to run races on Churchill Downs, and even I know how important that was. And we're walking on it, and no one's yelling at us, which was interesting. Like the fact that everyone's dressed up to the nines in suits, and everyone has this like elegance to them and this politeness, and it's true. Like you see little kids all the way to adults, and they're all really into it. It's really cool. Like even for someone who's not into horse racing, you sort of like Kentucky really gets into it in a way that, like, I'm sure if you're in Indiana for basketball or down here when it comes to football, like,
Life
it's their heart and
revolves.
soul, and it's really cool to be a part
It's
of it.
neat. And it's neat to come out here for,
Yeah, you get that feeling
watching
here too.
the simulcasting, and then you come out for a live day. We're going to have one of our brunch bashes October
End of the month.
27th. If you want to come on out, just email me at mikemayoeats@gmail.com for a full day at the races, Sunday brunch buffet, along with live racing, beautiful view of the track, and an air-conditioned restaurant, 10 Palms right here. And we have contests every week, and we're going to do that after the second break. But
Nice.
yeah, all you got to do if you want to join us at a discounted rate of $44 per person, 20% discount off the usual price, plus tax and gratuity. It includes the mimosa a piece. It's a great deal. Just email me with the number of people in your party. You don't have to pay until you come on out. And mikemayoeats@gmail.com. All right, we're going to do the contest. You're going to enjoy the contest because I have some really obscure mayo clues.
It's in
At
a
a
Nobody
restaurant.
restaurant that nobody's ever
Is it a
heard
restaurant
of.
that
At a
exists?
restaurant that few people have ever heard of
Oh,
or
nice.
attended.
Is it still open?
It's not
doesn't
still open.
It's not still
Well, they
open.
used to
However,
give Defo all that
Was
crap.
there more than one?
It used to be located right down the block. You could actually see where it was
Okay.
right
Oh,
there,
okay.
right
So
behind
that's
that
I
white
think we've
building
used
there.
this one before.
That's a
No,
No?
it was not Monero's. This
Oh,
is
okay.
something different, and it's going to be a little tricky one, but it's in celebration of National Vodka Day.
Okay.
But we'll do that.
Is it also National Chili Dog Day? I actually sent
I
this to
did not
Sarni.
see that.
I broke my code of silence with Sarni on text, and I sent him a thing. National Chili Dog Day was supposedly like either today or yesterday.
Oh, I
All right,
love
we'll
chili
look that
dogs.
one
I
up.
haven't had
Meanwhile,
chili
they're
dog in
running the
forever.
second at Keeneland. Before we go to the next break, I want to put in the good word about our friends at Delaware Chicken and Seafood Market. It is going to be stone crab season soon. I can't believe it. 11 days and counting.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We're going to be there to celebrate the start of the season on the 17th, 2 days after the official opening. Again, October 15th through May 1st, you can get the freshest in Florida stone crabs, along with all the other great
I like that they have
seafood
all the
items.
sizes, and they'll actually break it down to you, and they'll
Yeah,
explain it
and
to
they'll
you.
crack them for you there, or leave them for you to crack at home. They'll teach
They
you.
have their own
What do you think they're going to be
mustard.
this year, Mayo? What kind of pricing?
Oh, well, usually at the beginning, there's always higher demand, and then it comes down a little bit before the holidays, and then it ticks
What
up
would be a
again.
good price? Like if it came out and they said, hey, it's only like whatever a pound.
Well, you like to see the large in the 40-something range, and the mediums now are bigger because they have bigger size
Yeah, the
restrictions.
rules, yeah.
But they're basically, in the opening week, it'll probably be in the $32 to $36 range for the mediums and the $44 to $49 range for the large. But it's a delicacy. It
Yeah.
belongs to South Florida. And if that's out of your price range, they got all kinds of other great fish and seafood and chicken, poultry, steaks, the whole gamut. Delaware Chicken and Seafood, 4191 North State Road 7. They're open 7 days. Go online to delawarechicken.com to get the latest in the weekly circular. You can sign up for that as well. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you.
All righty. Joe Beja and more of Mike Mayo's
Contest.
Lunchbox, Gulfstream Park, 10 Palms, Brunch Bash, or Brunch Voucher contest next.
A little further inland, Luke's Seafood and Grill. That's Luke's with a C, 5511 South University Drive in Davie. Luke and Roxy, they're a great couple with great food. It's a mom and pop shop bringing the freshest fish and seafood to Western Broward. Some of the best jambalaya and fish cakes around. And Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? You can find his famous Scoobies, those sauteed crab claws, right there on the specials board most days. Oh, so good. So take a trip to University just north of Sterling today. Lunch, dinner, closed on Mondays. Tell them Mike Mayo's Lunchbox sent you. When people come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial. Serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, oh, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. Go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the black and grilled wings, and of course, the kitchens are open late Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Prezzo Italian Restaurants, 2 locations, Boca Raton at Park Place on Military Trail and Palm Beach Gardens in the PGA Commons on PGA Boulevard. Contemporary Italian cuisine with house-made pastas, wood-fired pizzas, salads, veal, chicken, and of course their famous focaccia bread with oven-roasted garlic bulbs. In Garlic We Trust is their slogan, and you can trust Prezzo for a great experience with gracious service and tremendous value. Open 7 days, featuring brunch, lunch, dinner, and happy hour. Great wine deals and full bar at both locations. For reservations and more information, go to eatprezzo.com. We're back and right on cue, right on time. Our man Joe Beja, Executive Director of Hospitality here at Gulfstream Park. Joe, we missed you last week. How was California?
California was great. I mean, I have to give kudos to our corporate team and our the events team that we have that put on the California Crown, which is our West Coast version of Pegasus. And it was really was a great event. We partnered with some of the popular restaurants in California, like Wally's, which is big in Beverly Hills and Santa Monica for a wine bar and restaurant. We had Delilah handle a section, and we had an activation with Chef Funky out there.
Nice.
So it was very popular out there, very popular Italian restaurant. So we had Shabuzi with his one hit performing.
Really?
Yep, he came out and
people love
performed.
him.
I don't know what a shabuzi is,
Yeah,
but
it's a
I'm
song.
sure my daughter
It's like
does.
a country
probably.
rap
Yeah,
song.
Bar Tipsy, whatever
It's a very
called.
big
Yeah.
song. It's a lot of fun. My wife.
It's
I
a
know
lot of fun. It's
Beyonce.
very catchy. She
Yes.
was there,
Oh,
actually, believe
really?
it or not. So, yep.
Wow.
They came towards the end of the day.
Nice.
Very private, obviously. And her and Jay-Z showed up. We
Oh,
actually,
Beyonce was there.
yeah, because we actually had
I missed
Shabuzi
I
and
missed it.
Beyonce.
yeah,
That's
Shabuzi
unbelievable.
performed. Beyonce came
was
as
hanging out.
yes,
They must have
as an
endorsed it, maybe.
attendee.
Wow, because that's
well-
what happens
Well,
out
she
in
released her
Hollywood.
new bourbon called Sir Davis.
Beyonce
After-
has a bourbon.
Yeah, actually, it's a rye whiskey. Sorry, it's a rye whiskey that she
Interesting.
released in honor of her father.
She's
So
from
it's Sir
Texas, yeah.
Davis, and that was the official rye whiskey of
That's
the
freaking
event.
cool.
Nice.
So she came out, and we partnered with
Who
them.
won the big
and-
races? I was so busy moving and packing last week that I didn't even see any of
Oh,
the
yeah,
big races.
it's
Was Baffert
slipping-
win, or I don't even know.
No, and I'm trying to
Okay.
remember. I'm
It's all
sipping-
right. It was all about the atmosphere, and I'm sure.
Yeah, but it was a great race. I remember it was like 3 horses, like a photo finish. It was like
Good.
neck and neck and neck. So
It's one of the rare Saturdays where I did not have any action, or I
Yeah.
didn't even have any eyeballs on the screen. I was so busy trying to get out of my house in time for the closing on Monday morning,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
made it by the skin of my teeth. Nothing focuses like a deadline.
no, of course,
And
especially
let me-
for closing on the
Yeah,
house.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
let
You
me
want
give
that
you
money in your
let me
account.
give you some advice. If you've been in a house for 24 years, start packing up maybe before 72 hours.
No, it's like
before
a
you gotta
month.
be
You
out
need
of
to.
it.
Oh
you
my
need
god!
like a month.
Yeah, you need a month. I'm going through this with my mother right now, and I don't know. We actually just had the sale fell through, which is
No,
kind of
oh.
good in a way. Good in a way because I don't know how we were going to make it in 3 weeks.
Oh, it's
The,
3
the,
weeks.
the closure was going to be on the 24th.
Jeez.
Okay,
You know. So yeah, so we're back to square one, but
yeah, that's it.
we'll
But
get it.
it's all good. Meanwhile, we're back here. It
Yeah.
is got to give Chef Jason and his crew props. We ordered the fish special, and it is I guess a snapper, but it's with the skin on, and it's got this beautiful arrangement with the roasted cauliflower and some risotto and these peppadew peppers. I mean, it's colorful, gorgeous plate, something you would find at the finest restaurants.
is.
Yeah.
And it tastes great.
The
So
elder mayo.
it's all good, as my brother Burl.
When I like that, you guys, the sliders, you cook them to order. Like it's so
Yes.
often, and it's a small piece of meat. I get
Correct.
it. So when it comes out well done, it's like getting a burger at Burger King to me. Like it's a slider. I just accept it. It's about good Tremont, fine.
Mm.
No, not here. When I say medium rare, just to almost test it, it comes out freaking medium rare, which I
Yeah.
find. But it still has the grill marks on the outside. Like that's
Yeah.
actually impressive. It's very rare to actually get a slider cooked the way you would get a half-pound cheeseburger.
That's beautiful. Hey, so I see you've got the bourbons and the ryes, but today, I don't know if you know this, Joe, but it is National Vodka Day.
Oh, I
And-
knew it was coming up this week, and I didn't realize it was today.
It is actually today, and this is why I am celebrating
I
with
should've worn
a
my-
splash
Yeah,
of
your, what
the
is it?
Tito's, or
Tito's
is it Kettle
or
One?
Tito's.
I forget, but I got a Bloody Mary here
Nice.
to start the weekend with my little horsey toothpick, because you have all the
Yeah,
proper
those are the best.
accoutrements and garnishes with
Yeah.
the olives. Delicious Bloody Mary, delicious vodka. before we get into what's coming up here at Gulfstream, which you're going to have Oktoberfest and then
Yeah, it's a busy one for us.
martinis, paninis, and then linguini in November. Do you want to do the contest? Because
Sure. Absolutely.
I didn't do it with Defo here because I knew he would be so enraged by some of my clues. He just might storm off the set, but so I just let him go. And one quick word about last week's contest. So I messed up. I thought there was only one person who nailed all three components in the name of Bonnie DePacio, my friend, but she's not a relative. She's eligible to win. But it turned out I missed one entry that had all three elements also, and that would be Jeannie Jaffe. Now, I could reach into my own pocket to pay for a double winner, or since there have been many, I guess, unclaimed, there's unclaimed brunch bash winners.
Well, they probably want to come to this.
But there are unclaimed brunch winners from the past. You know, you're supposed to redeem your prize within 3 months, but I've got some going back to even April, March. And I think you kind of forfeit
They
after
should,
a while.
honestly. Joe's a real
But
nice guy.
again,
but in
all
my
those
book, they would
people
forfeit.
out there who have won previously in the last 6 months, please let me know when you want to redeem your prize or you will forfeit it. We are going to have a brunch bash on October 27th where I'll be there. Lubie will be there. We'll have a whole bunch of contest winners, and you're able to come at a discount thanks to Joe B. $44 instead of the typical rate. It's a 20% discount plus tax and gratuity. Just email me at mikemayoeats@gmail.com with the number of people in the party, and we'll get you signed up for the brunch bash October 27th, Sunday.
Yeah, I'm stoked.
All right. Meanwhile, we've got more contests to give away. But last week, we're going to allow both Bonnie and Jeannie Jaffe to redeem their prizes. Hopefully, they can come on the 27th. Well, actually, Bonnie can't come because she's in North Carolina. And she graciously wants to gift her winning contest to Judy, Green-Eyed Girl.
Green-Eyed Girl. We love Judy.
Because apparently Green-Eyed Girl loves to come down here, and Bonnie doesn't know when she's going to make it down to Florida. So with your permission, Joe, we will we'll have a gifting to Judy and Green-Eyed Girl. Thank Bonnie because she wants to let you enjoy a day at the races and a beautiful brunch buffet. All right, here we go. Thank you, Joe, by the way. This man is so generous. I'm so generous with other people's money. It's been going back to when I was at the Sun Sentinel. I was willing to reach in my own pocket, but
I love that you bring it up in front of him. You know, if Joe doesn't feel like it, hand gesture.
Browbeat me.
I feel like I was back at Wicked on Broadway, like Saturday night, watching you put on a show right there.
That's it. Dave Joseph already said this is our last show ever after I wore this hat into the press box. All his people there hate the Mets with a passion, and you're a Yankee fan too, right?
Yankees fan, but I'll root for the Mets because they're from New York.
Okay.
I have no other rooting interest from the National
Wouldn't
League.
you love to see a Subway Series?
Of
It
course.
happened a couple once before at the
was
Mets.
2000 when it happened?
2000 was my senior year of high school. Yeah.
Was it 2000? Yeah,
Yes, I remember
that
because
was Clemens throwing the bat at Piazza.
Yeah.
Was
That was a
the
classic
broken
game.
bat at Piazza.
I was there covering it for the
Oh, you
Sun
did?
Sentinel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I was actually, believe it or not, I was visiting the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, watching that
that's
game,
pretty cool.
watching that game in a sports bar when
That's
that
pretty
happened.
cool.
You and Pete Rose.
Yeah, right.
Rest in peace, Pete. Big horse player. He spent a lot of afternoons here
Sure
at
did.
Gulfstream Park, and I think he built half the grandstand.
Probably. Yes.
Probably did.
The stories are right
All right, it is finally
Contest.
time for this week's contest. Email the answer to this week's restaurant trivia questions along with your horse selections for this week's Gulfstream contest race, which will be race number 11 with a field of 11. So it's numbers 1 through 11. Pick a number between 1 and 11. And then this week's NFL tiebreaker is going to be Dolphins Patriots.
Oh, Jesus.
Your Miami Dolphins, 1 and 3. You want to give me the winning team?
Joe just had to look like I don't know what to do with that game.
Nobody
All the
does.
tiebreakers.
All I know is I think bet the under because I don't see
Bet the under.
anybody.
Bet
And what
the
is
under.
the over on? It's got to be like 32
Doesn't
points. I
matter.
mean, it's
Yeah,
like
it's
I think it's like
terrible.
34, 35.
terrible
That's very,
offensive
very.
teams. And by the way, the Athletic does like I guess quarterly rankings. They got the Dolphins 31 of 32
Yeah,
teams.
well, right now they just lost to the
In the
Titans. It should have been
NFL.
32.
And
36 and a hook.
36.
How do you
yeah.
not go under?
How do you not? Well,
That's a low number, but
Hey,
still.
don't even talk about that because on Monday night against the Titans, I had the under 37.5.
Oh, and what happened? They
That touchdown.
Oh, at the end.
That touchdown with 27 seconds left.
They killed
The
you.
thing
They met-
Defo was talking about.
The whole I
And
forget.
that's why they call it gambling. All right. So again,
Where
the
the game was
contest
over.
race here. Oh, and you're gonna email all the stuff to me, MikeMayoEats@gmail.com by noon tomorrow, October 5th. Some of you have been slacking and getting in at 1 p.m.,
Nah, that won't count.
3 p.m. It's not good. Contest race, it's the final race on the card. It's a 60,000 maiden special race scheduled for 1 mile on the turf. And again, 1 through 11. There are no also eligibles, so everybody hopefully will go. And again, the Dolphins-Pats game, I believe it's 1 p.m. kickoff on CBS. All right. And if there's a tie, we'll have a tiebreaker drawing on Monday's Lunchbox. All right, for this week's restaurant, we celebrate National Vodka Day with a bygone local restaurant where many bottles were consumed.
Okay.
Here we go. This Russian restaurant and nightclub in Hallandale Beach that was a mere pierogies throw from Gulfstream Park had a long and weird run for nearly 2 decades before shuttering in 2023.
Okay.
At one point, its dinner show featured live tigers, and the dinner tables.
Is it a real place?
Yeah, I've been there, and I saw the tigers. And the dinner tables came stocked with full bottles of Russian vodka. And I once went when I was married to Michelle. We went with a neighbor whose son came in from Louisiana, and the father and son were estranged, but they were patching things up. And we consumed a lot of vodka, and by the end of the night in the parking lot, they were swinging at each other. They were trading blows. It was crazy. The place was crazy. All right, number 2, the restaurant featured platters of cold cuts, chicken Kiev, and other Eastern European dishes. But the main draw was the post-dinner show, which also featured dancers, gymnasts, contortionists, and live animals usually seen in zoos, much to the consternation of local authorities who once raided and shuttered the place. And also, the big attraction was vodka.
Also, that's like the last.
Do you have any clue what this place was called?
When did it close? Because Joe
Closed
again,
in summer of 2023, so it was just
Oh,
last
so it's been
year.
around.
Yes,
for a
it's been
while.
around.
So it's been
Yeah.
around, okay.
It's right there on the strip, right there on Hallandale Beach Boulevard. All right,
I remember there used to be a restaurant there, a club there, and it was. I don't want to give it.
well, don't give the name. But here
I don't
is
know
the
the name
clue,
exactly.
the weird clue that would enrage many people or delight many people, but it's one that will give you a clue even if you have no idea about what the restaurant was.
Mm-hmm.
Seinfeld fans will recognize the restaurant's name.
Trapeze.
The
John
s-
Travis said trapeze.
That was a swingers
No.
club. Now stop
It
that.
still exists.
I always thought
Actually.
there was a like a woman's name.
It is. Hold on. Seinfeld fans will recognize the restaurant's name. It's the same name as an unseen character in the classic Chinese restaurant episode. A woman whom George Costanza was dating and frantically trying to reach about their change in dinner plans. She called the restaurant only to have the proprietor shout "Cartwright" while attempting
wrong
to
name.
reach
The wrong
George.
Costanza. Yeah.
Joe B's got it.
I
I
don't
got
have
it.
And I
Joe
love that
B
show.
has got the answer. Do
Yeah, I
you
wouldn't
have
have
it?
gotten that.
If you
Never.
do, email it to me along with the
Never
number
would've
from
gotten
1
that.
to 11 for the
Never.
contest race, the 11th race, and the winning team and margin in the Dolphins-Pats game. Whew, I'm exhausted. Let's take our final break, and then we will talk about the latest
Yeah, everything going on here.
comings up
Yep.
here at Gulfstream. But before we do, I got to put in a word about our newest sponsor, and that is Trans World Business Advisors. If you have a business or a restaurant, and let's say you're getting ready to retire or you've just had enough and you're looking to sell the business, you want to give Trans World Business Advisors a call because Andy Cagnata and his crew will help you sell your business for the highest dollar. And likewise, if you're looking to change businesses or maybe stop working for the man and work for yourself and have that entrepreneurial spirit and you want to buy a business or a restaurant, give Trans World a call also. They help buyers and sellers. tworld.com is the website to make your dreams come true today. tworld.com, and they're going to be sponsoring our newest segment later this month. We'll talk more about that next week, but tworld.com if you want to buy or sell a business. All right.
The brunch contest for Gulfstream Park 10 Palms is done, but we are not done. We have Joe B here to talk more about what's going on here at Gulfstream Park and 10 Palms after this on Mike Mayo's Lunchbox.
One of the best restaurants in Broward, J&C Oyster in downtown Hollywood. At 2035 Harrison Street, this place is fantastic and worth a drive. It's got creative, cutting-edge seafood and more with an Asian twist and gorgeous cocktails. Chefs Raheem Seeley and Monica Dominguez cut their teeth at some of Miami's best restaurants. Don't miss some of these fantastic dishes, including grilled oysters, fried chicken, and the Thai red curry crab. Open Wednesday through Sunday for dinner with daily happy hour and outdoor seating. Go to jncoyster.com for reservations and information. Tell them Mike Mayo's Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally. And they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. If you're looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more, go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 and the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, for tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Freshest fish, Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market, located at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, open 7 days. Since 1951, a South Florida tradition for stone crab in season, Thanksgiving turkeys, holiday feasts, and everyday eating. Great steaks, house-made sausage, and prepared foods, too. Delaware is not just a market, it's a celebration of taste, quality, and old-fashioned customer service with a smile. Sign up for their weekly email flyer at DelawareChicken.com and tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a great bagel with lox, matzo ball soup, deli sandwich, and rugelach, you know where I go? Grandpa's Restaurant in Dania Beach. It's a South Florida institution since 1957 that was revamped a few years back by a pair of New York bagel baking legends. Full deli and appetizing case with spreads, salads, and platters for takeout and catering. Grandpa's is near Federal Highway, just north of Sterling Road, open 7 days for breakfast and lunch. Go eat and enjoy. It's Mike Mayo's Lunchbox approved. And welcome back to the Lunchbox. We got Joe B, and we've got another exciting month on tap. Actually, a couple of months, and then before you know it, the championship meet will be here right around Thanksgiving, too.
On
right?
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, first of all, I noticed that you had some of these beautiful brown liquors here, but now pulled them away. Does this mean I don't get to keep one as a housewarming gift?
I can pour you a sample right now.
You're unbelievable.
I'm the worst.
Your snoring is
snoring.
legendary. I'll give you that.
I'm really at the top of my snoring game right now. What do we got here? You were doing some samples?
Yep, doing some samples, looking at possibly a barrel from Papa's Pilar rum.
Nice.
They used actually the Hemingway. They also produced a Hemingway rye.
Okay.
So the Hemingway rye barrels were used to age some of the Papa's Pilar dark rum. So I was just tasting a particular barrel and see if there'd be a commitment that they would do a custom Gulf Stream
label. How do you
label
do a rum tasting? Do you like swish it around and spit it out like the wine connoisseurs when you're doing like a massive wine tasting?
I don't spit it out. I
I
like to see the afterburn. If there is an afterburn, how smooth, if it lingers on the palate and so forth. So this one to me there's 3 different barrels that we tasted through. This one had a little more of a caramel finish. I can pour you guys a couple swigs if you like that.
I mean, I could swig right from the bottle, but I think that might be a breach
that
of
would work for everybody.
You're
Yeah,
unbelievable.
but
You really want to get
this one's getting added to my personal collection.
Oh, okay. There we go. I noticed the seal has not been broken, but it looks like a beautiful bottle.
I'm happy to pour. Again,
it's
always
okay.
happy to share.
This one's been open. If you want to pour,
at this point in my life,
Yeah.
I will look for it. It's called Hemingway Rye.
Hemingway rye. Yeah, it's excellent.
Do you know if
It's
they carry it
excellent.
at the local
They
liquor
do.
shops?
Like I think ABC and Crown and
Primo? Because I'm right down the block now from a Primo Liquors,
should.
and they usually have all the good stuff.
They
so
should.
I will keep an eye out
distilled
for it.
in Key West. So
cool.
obviously Ernest
Notice how he's
Hemingway.
put it out of my arm's
Yeah,
reach
he's
now.
smart.
No,
He's
it's
a
all right.
smart man.
I was trying not to block the view of my
No,
coat.
it's all
I'm looking
good.
nice with the coat.
It's
today.
all
I'm
good.
kidding.
All right, we'll put it right in front of me and my Mets hat. Meanwhile, what do we got coming up?
Taste of
Joe?
the Track on Saturday, October 19th. There'll be an
Okay.
Oktoberfest theme. First
For 2
time we're
weeks.
trying this out. I just got the menu today from Chef Jason, which is ironic. I had a phone call yesterday to my office, and it was a lovely lady from Boca or Palm Beach or somewhere around there saying she usually buys tickets to these events, but not until we put the menu on the website.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Very
So-
particular.
Yes.
Oh, and
so
Boca, right?
probably,
He
yeah.
said both.
So,
Yeah,
but
I was already ready for whatever came after that.
menu will be out by
They're
Monday.
particular. Nice.
It'll be on the website by Monday for those of you that are looking at it. So it still
Nice.
gives you 2 weeks to buy.
I want to hear this because
But-
I love
I'm
German
curious.
food. I love
Yep.
Oktoberfest.
brats and
And again, the
So,
date
schnitzel,
is
but what else?
Saturday, the
19th,
19th.
so 2 weeks from the Saturday.
2 weeks from tomorrow. Yes.
And it's from 12 to 4. VIP tickets for the first hour. Go
VIP is so
online to
freaking worth it.
GulfstreamPark.com. You should see the big box to click on and buy your tickets, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Thank you for adding that. So for the event, for station number 1, will be a currywurst with fries.
Interesting.
And this one, I'm not sure, a Kartel puffer with applesauce, which is, I guess, their version of potato pancakes.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's like the pan. It's a big
Yeah, okay. Station 2 will be house-made pigs in a blanket with a drunken mustard,
Okay.
and then salted pretzels
Nice.
Okay.
and with beer cheese.
Nice. Oh, with the beer cheese. That's
And then
amazing.
station number 3 will be the pork schnitzel sliders
Oh,
on a
Ooh,
pretzel
pork schnitzel
bun.
sliders.
I like it.
Yeah, on
I
a
like it.
pretzel bun.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
And then spetzel with sage
Love
brown butter
spetzel.
sauce.
Spetzel,
Love the
nice.
spetzel.
All right. Station 4 will be Oktoberfest charcuterie, which
Okay.
will include here
Piece of
Jagerwurst, liver pate.
Wow. Liver pate.
Yeah,
Fancy.
mustard cheddar, pork, and they'll have pork shank wings
Okay.
with
Interesting.
sweet and sour purple cabbage.
Interesting. I
yeah,
love
with the cabbage, with
yeah.
the spetzel is a big.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
So those are the 4 stations, and the big long buffet table, which is now becoming
Right.
Chef Jason's signature.
Signature.
Is we have bratwurst with peppers and
There's
onions.
gotta be
There
a
it
whole
is. I'm like,
bunch
you
of
gotta
worst.
have brat,
Yeah,
yeah.
all the sauces.
Knockwurst with hot
and
German
knockwurst.
potatoes.
Oof.
Then we'll have bockwurst with
all the
sauerkraut.
firsts.
All the
Nice.
worst.
And you know what, Joe? It also happens to be National Sausage Month, so that
Oh,
coincides
it coincides.
perfectly with Chef Jason's
Yeah.
grand display of all the wursts, which are sausages, of course. So it's
Correct.
great.
Yeah, that's great.
And then a German cucumber salad, and then desserts will be German apple strudel, Black Forest cupcakes,
Cakes, yeah.
and it says here a dessert beer mug that I haven't clicked on the link.
Oh,
yet.
the
okay.
mugs with you guys are great with
Well,
that. You
so-
put it in like a little.
My
cup.
question is a couple of questions. Number one, if I show up in my lederhosen, will I be admitted?
Of course.
And if I show up, because one of the things I found when I was clearing out all my closets and cupboards was a big German beer stein. If
Oh,
I
the
bring my own
steins.
stein,
They're
can
doing
I get
Steins,
it
right?
filled with beer?
Probably from Three Sons. I'll have to tell the guys at Three
So
Sons
that's
they'll do
what-
it.
Is it different breweries? Like I know you said Oktoberfest beer.
I've got 3 different beers,
okay.
2 different breweries, or 3 different breweries.
Okay.
And then I have a couple of Rieslings
Oh yeah,
that
we
we'll
talked
have, and then I have
that.
about 4 to 5 German cocktails.
I'm not
German
gonna-
inspired cocktails.
Nice.
Okay, I'm not going to be filling a glass with the Rieslings. I will
See,
be
I like
filling
Riesling.
it
I know
with
it's sweet, but I do like
beer
Riesling.
if they have some good Bavarian style
Yeah.
lagers
I mean, if it's Three
and
Sons, it's
and anything that they have.
Yep.
I'll fill my stein.
Perfect.
I'll stay in good graces.
Yeah,
All right, and then
exactly.
real briefly, we'll get ahead to the Italian theme for
Oh, yeah.
November, right?
Yeah.
The date for that.
That'll be November 23rd on the
Okay,
Saturday,
November, okay.
and that'll be martinis, paninis, and linguini.
And I'm especially looking forward to that
Yeah.
because everybody loves Italian food. I'm sure that's going to be a
Yes.
huge hit.
Yep.
Yep.
And tickets on sale now for the Oktoberfest. Again, get them now. GulfstreamPark.com. Just click on the box, get either VIP, which I highly recommend because getting that.
Well, getting to pick your look. What I will say is, if you can't get VIP, you're not jobbed. Like Joe and his staff do a really good job at making everyone feel comfortable and everyone feel welcome. But if you're not in a rush Saturday and you have time to just hang, it's really cool to be able to get here 12-ish and like pick, because even the people that get by the window, there's so many tables that you really have your pick at the table.
Yep.
And it's really cool whether you're a big horse person or you're not. Like everyone gets really involved, and like when the races come on, everyone stands up. So like if your table closer to the window, it helps. So the VIP, I find like it's at least easier to like get your table. You can relax a little. You can get into the mode. Whereas if you don't do VIP, you're sort of throwing in a little bit more. But either way, like they do such a great job, and it's so spread out that even when it's packed, it doesn't feel packed. Like there's not lines at different sections. Like you can get up, get whatever you want, whenever you want, and it's really comfortable.
Yeah, we have seating for about 85% of the attendees. You know, we
Nice.
usually sell about 360 tickets, and we have seating for about 310, 320. So there's a few that'll end up being standing room only. But again, you get there for VIP, you're either on the window or the second row behind the window.
Yep.
So, you know, you have some good views of the track.
Yep.
Whereas as you get there later in the day, you get a little
You're
more,
farther from
you're a little farther from the track, closer to the bar.
Well, I was gonna say,
you know, and closer to the
bar.
food.
There's always
but,
a silver lining.
you know, there's always a silver lining. So
All good. All right, Joe, thank you so much for your time. I know you got a
course.
meeting. Before we get out of here, just some weekend dining option reminders. Go check out one of our sponsors, Casa D'Angelo. If you're in the mood for some really good premium high-end Italian, great service, impeccable food and wine, there's one right here south of Gulfstream in Aventura, along with the flagship in Fort Lauderdale, Boca Raton. Or go to Tropical Acres and get yourself one of those beautiful filet mignons, the award-winning best steakhouse in South Florida by the readers of the Sun Sentinel. Or you could still get the Twin Lobster Special for National
Friday night.
Seafood Month. Or go to Batch, New Southern Kitchen and Tap in Fort Lauderdale for your weekend bottomless brunch
Yeah, the
options.
brunches are fucking.
Or J&C
they're
Oyster in
fantastic.
Hollywood, 2035 Harrison Street. Innovative, creative, beautiful cuisine. J&C Oyster. All right, I did the
You
quadruple
nailed all
Lutz
of it.
there to get us
The
out of here.
roundup.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. We'll see you Monday early for a breakfast edition,
Yes,
10:30 a.m. start
Yom
at
Kippur.
Grandpa's
Wow.
Bagel Bakery and Deli to get ready for the Yom Kippur holiday. If you need to break the fast with a platter
Yeah.
of bagels and great spreads, appetizing smoked fish, Grandpa's is the place to go. We'll be with Mark Freed bright and early Monday morning at 10:30. Until then, for Joe Beja, Jeff DeForest, Mike Lubitz, I'm Mike Mayo. Let's go Mets. Enjoy every Sam.